Hey there, it's Anonymous Tea, where we spill the tea anonymously. Hello, 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 everyone. Hello, YouTubers. Hope you guys are all having an amazing day today, sending good vibes, sending positivity, sending blessings, and good energy to each and every single one of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. So today we are talking Big Brother Reindeer Games, Episode 3. Ahead of tonight's episode, we're going to have the final 3 episodes this week, starting with Episode 4 tonight. But I wanted to do a little recap on Episode 3 because I felt a certain way. So it was a 90-minute episode. Derek X from the Cookout season BB23 was the Santa's elf, and I think he'll be the elf tonight as well. And the first challenge that they had was this guy came in to sing a Christmas carol, and basically the challenge was they put in these big letters, 4 words that were scrambled across the Big Brother house, and basically you had to put together what the 4 words were that this guy's girlfriend dumped him, right? And so they were coming up with some interesting, words and all of that. And so finally, what ended up happening was they got it right that it was he was too clingy. He was too clingy. So Taylor won the challenge, the Naughty or Nice challenge. So she decided to give the naughty to Josh, and then she got a 2-minute head start on Santa Showdown. But I didn't like the beginning of the episode. I had a bad feeling about it because for whatever reason, Brittany and Nicole felt a certain way about the time that Danielle and X were spending time together and talking, but I didn't understand why it was an issue, but it was okay for Nicole to be gone for periods of time talking with Cody and Frankie. Like, I knew her game immediately, and I was like, man, this is not going to end well. And then she tried to talk with the girls once again and establish that the all-girls alliance was still a thing. And I'm like, I have a bad feeling about this because girls' alliances never last on these shows, you guys. They never last on these shows because there is always at least one female that feels that she needs to pair up with a strong male to get to the end and to win some challenges. So I knew I had a bad feeling about this because I know how Nicole rolls, and I was like, I don't feel good about this. Sure enough, we have another challenge, right? We have our Santa Showdown challenge, and it is the mini veto, the tiny veto. Those of you who are not familiar, basically you have this like miniature, puzzle that you have to like put together, and you have to like use these, I'm not pliers, but like, I can't think of it. It's, but basically you have to grab these little pieces and put them, in the correct order of what the picture in reference is supposed to be. And if something is wrong or you have it shaped wrong or whatever, then you get it wrong, right? And so, really, I felt this was, once I saw the challenge, I was like, I feel like either Frankie or Nicole is going to win this one. And so, ultimately, Taylor's advantage was she got a 2-minute head start. And then Josh's disadvantage was that he had to, he wasn't able to see for the first 5 minutes what the picture was. He basically had to go in blind and try to put together this puzzle. However, he wouldn't know whether or not if he was right or wrong until that 5 minutes was up. So the editing pretty much showed that it was pretty much a battle between Nicole and Frankie. And so it was funny because Nicole buzzed in first because she thought that she had it. And she was buzzed in that she was wrong. And I laughed so hard. I was like, oh yes. I was like, Frankie, take it, right? And then I had a bad feeling because I was like, well, there's not much that really she needs to fix. So she might be okay and might have it pretty soon. And so sure enough, she buzzed in later. Now, they said behind the scenes, I think it took her like 2 or 3 times to finally buzz in and be correct. And ultimately, she won the challenge, right? And so basically for her, safety, her elimination challenge for somebody else that was there that was going to be leaving was that it was one of those, it kind of reminds me, those of you who watch BB Can, the chain of safety. So basically what this is you, regardless of what the challenge is, or sometimes it's not even a challenge at all, But pretty much whoever goes first, whoever wins the safety from whatever particular competition or whatever means they did it for you to have that safety, you then say the name of the next person basically that you want to save, right? But in the realm of this particular situation is there is a game, right? There is a game that you have, I believe it was like 5.5 minutes to complete. And each time you tell a new name to go to this challenge, they shave off a minute. So basically the first person will have the full 5.5 minutes, the next person will have 4 minutes and 30 seconds, the next will have 3 minutes and 30 seconds, and so on and so forth. And so the goal of the challenge is eventually somebody's going to be eliminated. And they will keep going until whoever is in that challenge and cannot complete the task, cannot complete that challenge within the allotted time they have by the time it is their turn. So again, I had a bad feeling about this challenge because I feel like it was going to go awry, because I felt Nicole saying, reinforcing this girls' alliance, and immediately she is going to choose, her BFF Frankie, that is going to send a snowball of effects of all of the wrong decisions after, right? And so nonetheless, we get to see the challenge. In between, Danielle is telling everybody, like, don't choose me. I'm not good at challenges. I'm not going to be good at this. I will go home if I'm sent in there. And basically, it's like this hamster wheel challenge where you have to move around this hamster wheel and try to get this ball in the correct maze and basically solve the puzzle, right? And you're using your body weight to move around in this hamster wheel, right? So Frankie goes first. Nicole chooses Frankie, and I was like, uh-oh. I was like, this is not going to be good. And, and really, they thought about this wrong, because I think they were thinking if they chose, certain people first, that would mean they could get their bigger threats out the way with less time. Except for things didn't go the way that it needed to go, because Nicole chose round. She should have chose Brittany first to do the challenge, so it could have been all girls that were going back to back to back. And then if she wanted to get out a big target such as X or something, then it would go get down to like him and Josh or whatever, right? If that was ultimately her goal for real. But ultimately, this was a disaster. So Frankie finishes in a couple of minutes, and then, he's up here having conferences, but basically said that he's going to choose X next, right? And, some people weren't happy about that, but I knew X was going to push through and make it, but he just, like, barely made it. He was, like, literally lollygagging with, like, 14 seconds left to the buzzer, and I'm like, dude, like, you're about to mess this up. And so the reason they didn't want X to go next was because he's pretty much told anyone who would listen that he was going to target Brittany and wanted Brittany to go. And so Brittany is having all of these meltdowns. She is crying. She's saying she's going to go home. She's literally begging X not to send her in next for the Santa Showdown and all of the things. And just, has zero confidence that she's going to come out, right? So nonetheless, she is doing all these tears. She is crying her eyes out, just begging and pleading. And ultimately X chooses her because, again, there's not many people left to choose. And and then some of the cast was like, celebrating because they thought that like she was going to be eliminated. And I was like, never underestimate your opponent. Never assume that you sent somebody in because you thought and assumed that they were going to be eliminated, because that could just be the fire that is lit in them to go ahead and push through, right? And so then Brittany gets in there, she's still crying and all these things, and then she's like, figure something out in the challenge, and then ultimately finishes very quickly. Like, even faster than Frankie and X. And I was like, uh-oh. And so basically they make like a jingle sound if you like passed, and then they make like a alarm sound or whatever, or some like goofy sound if you fail. And so once that sound went off that Brittany passed, everybody was shook. Everybody was completely shook that she passed, because Nicole was even crying, assuming that she was going to go home, and all of the things. So everybody is shook that she came through. But now the problem was going to be that, it was down to, Taylor, Danielle, and Josh, who were left to complete this challenge, right? And so one of them was going to be eliminated, right? Because Nicole can't do it because she won safety, right? So nonetheless, Brittany has conferences with people. Taylor tells her, hey, I'll go in. I volunteer to go in. I think I can, knock this out, no problem. And if I don't, it's whatever, right? And so, she's literally volunteering to do this challenge because Danielle just does not want to do it at all, right? And so then Brittany pulls X aside and asks him, why did you put me in? And he was like, because I needed to protect Danielle. And I was like, no, X, don't say that. Anything. You should have just said that you were protecting Josh or something. Like, I just felt like it was just such a bad social game move. And I was like, where's Tiffany and Chada when you need them from the cookout to help navigate and play the game for X, so he does not get caught up in these horrible social situations? Because I was like, oh no, you just sealed Danielle's fate. You just sealed Danielle's fate and you don't even know it. Even though she was being targeted anyways for something stupid, you just sealed her fate, basically. So there's no way she was going to choose Taylor, even though Taylor volunteered herself, right? And so it was down to a couple of minutes now, since Danielle is like the fourth person to do this challenge. And, and it was just awful. It was just awful because, once Brittany said Danielle's name, it was like the air was just taken out of the room, because this is a BB legend. This is a BB legend. She should have won her season in season 3. The fans adore her and have been begging for her to be back on TV for years. And, it wasn't supposed to go this way. Even if she didn't win the show, I thought for sure that she was at least going to make it to Reindeer Games, which is the final 4, which we should see play out, I'm assuming, next Thursday, or this coming Thursday, rather. So, nonetheless, she tries this challenge. She has some difficulty trying to start the hamster wheel because she didn't realize, like, how you had to kind of maneuver it. And so, just as she's starting to get the hang of it, time runs out. Time runs out. And I'm not really emotional per se. It takes a lot for me to cry. I tend to hold things in. But this actually made me cry. I actually had tears, you guys. I was so sad. I was so upset. I was so pissed. Because I was like, Brittany, why? Nicole, why? And it's like, even from a strategical standpoint, it made no sense to put in Danielle. Because here's the thing, if you know Danielle is not good at challenges, wouldn't that be an easy opponent to have at Reindeer Games versus having X and Josh there, especially if it's something physical? Like, I just didn't understand the logic. And screw a girls' alliance, because you sent in a girl when you had another option available. Even though she made that deal with Josh, that they wouldn't come for each other, I didn't trust it. I didn't trust it because ultimately you can be put in weird situations to where she could have been in a situation where she had no other choice but to choose Josh, right? So I was just very disgusted. I was just really mad. And so everybody's like, they make the sound that Danielle didn't pass and is going to be eliminated. And so then everybody breaks down. And I kind of got pissed because I was like, well, some of you crying and some of you being upset, like, you did this, right? You did this, you instigated this, right? And so Taylor and Josh were just generally distraught, and X was upset as well and was giving Danielle her flowers in the diary room about how she paved the way for him and Taylor's talking about how she wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Danielle and all of the things. And Danielle comes back in because you have to like go up to basically the HOH room and do your exit, right? And so, everybody comes and like starts hugging her. Then Brittany tries to give her a hug, and Danielle is just not featuring Brittany at the moment. She is just not featuring her at all. And so, nonetheless, each eliminated person, like I said in the previous episodes, they choose a present at the end, and it's either a fruitcake or a jelly membership or money. And the max money you can get is $5,000, right? And so I was like, Danielle is a strategist. Danielle is a boss. She's going to come away with something, right? She's not going to choose the wrong present like the previous two eliminations did and completely chose wrong, right? So she ends up, choosing a box that would look like a box you would select if you were packing if you were packing a check, right? And so she opens it, and it is the $5,000. And so everybody's like cheering because it's like a nice little consolation for her. Because it's like in one way or the other, she's still winning. But I need her back on my screen ASAP, you guys. I need her immediately as the first call for Traders 3. And I need her to be a trader. I mean, I feel like, there was a resurgence. Even though she was 51 years old, she killed it. She looked great for her age. Skin was flawless. Need her skincare routine ASAP, because how do you not have any wrinkles or anything? What are you doing, right? So nonetheless, I don't know. We'll see how things go. The edit was a little bit misleading as far as the previews go, because the previews tried to make it seem like Brittany would be going based off of how bad people were crying, but really it was a redirect because she was crying because she didn't want to do the challenge, and then other people were crying because of the fact that it was Danielle that was going. And I was just too through, you guys. I was just really upset. Because I was like, do I continue this? Even though I was rooting for Danielle, but then it's like, well, I like Josh, I like X, and I like Taylor, and I thought I liked Brittany, but I don't know right now how I feel about that, because I feel a certain type of way about how all of this unfolded, and it kind of just reminded me of how old Big Brother was, really new Big Brother too, where black people are not allowed to be seen talking to each other and congregating, or it's an issue. And you have to split them up. But nobody has that energy when Nicole, Frankie, and Cody were walking around like the Three Musketeers all day. Right? So I don't want to hear it, and it just sucks. I just hate that stigma, right? So nonetheless, we are down to, our final 6. And we will see who makes it to Reindeer Games and hopefully who wins, right? I think it's really anybody's game at this point. I feel like Frankie and X are probably like the front runners, but I'm really hoping that either Josh or Taylor takes it. I am hoping that one of those two take it. Josh is really getting like a really good redemption at it, considering I watch him on the challenge, and it's a totally different situation, and this is a totally different edit than what he got his first go around on the show and on live feeds and everything else. So he's getting like a really like good edit this particular go around, just really just showing him as nice and sympathetic and just like really empathetic towards the women. And just really, little jokes here and there and all of the things. But just really, it seems he's really taken in the experience and really enjoys being around these BB legends. So I appreciated that and everything else. But yeah, I'm excited for tonight's episode. I'm excited for the final episodes. Kind of seeing this show, I want BB Celebrity Big Brother for the winner. Like, make it happen, make the calls. We need another abbreviated season of something. I'm even fine with future seasons of this, and they can even do it twice a year. They can do this Reindeer Games thing, and then they can also do something in the winter around Valentine's Day or something, and do something similar with All-Star Cast. But the key to this being successful is you need the right cast, you guys, because not everybody is a fan favorite. And they got the cast right with this one because their diary sessions were hilarious, and for the most part, everybody was a fan favorite, right? Even if you didn't like their game or whatever, right? But pretty much everybody like resonated and knew who they were. So I think Big Brother should take this as a sign that they should do more shows like this. And I think the biggest thing too is the competitions are a lot more fair or a lot more balanced so that anybody could potentially win it. And I feel like that is what's missing in regular Big Brother. They cater so many of these challenges to be physical so that all of the big strong men can win. And I just feel it's a hindrance, and it's basically a disservice to women overall, because there hasn't been that many, female winners in comparison. And and so I feel a certain way about that, right? And I feel hopefully if they can, take some of the things that were successful here with this show and give us a winter season of Big Brother, or a winter celebrity Big Brother, or a winter all-stars Big Brother of some sort that's another abbreviated type of thing, I feel like they would knock it out of the park. But yeah, that's what I think of everything. Please let me know what you guys think in the comments. What did you think of episode 3 of BB Reindeer Games? What did you think of the elimination? Do you feel that the right choice was made? Do you feel that Nicole chose right in choosing Frankie first? What are your thoughts? Please let me know in the comments. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you're notified the moment I post new content on my channel. And with that being said, I'll talk to you guys again very soon.